It's 6:40 in the morning and you own a ranch, 10,000 acres, your name on the deed. You're standing on the porch with a cup of coffee, watching your cattle move across grass that belongs to you, under a sky that feels like it does too. This is the dream that real estate listings are engineered to sell. Then your phone buzzes. It's your ranch manager. The well pump on the north pasture died overnight. That's $18,000. The spring flood took out 2 miles of fence. Oh, 40,000 more. And the hay invoice just landed in the same week the cattle market dropped 8%. Here's the number nobody tells you. You can spend $37 million building this operation, do almost everything right, and clear less profit than a savings account would have paid you. Some years you'll lose $380,000 because of a snowstorm you couldn't control. And yet, Ted Turner, John Malone, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, the sharpest capital allocators alive keep buying ranches. Millions of acres of them. They know something the listing photos don't show you. Now, by the end of this video, you'll know it too, because on a ranch, the cattle were never the real business. First problem, ranch isn't one business. It's a dozen different businesses wearing the same hat. A cattle ranch sells beef. A horse ranch sells breeding and training. A hunting ranch sells access to wildlife. A guest ranch is basically a boutique hotel with horses. And a luxury recreational ranch? Its main product is a tax deduction with a view. These operations share fences and a zip code, and almost nothing else financially. Today we're running the version most people picture, the one with the most moving parts. A serious cattle operation. Your cattle operation. The biggest cost isn't the cows, it's the dirt under them. The USDA puts average American pasture land at $1,920 per acre. Sounds almost reasonable. But that average is hiding a canyon. Wyoming ranch land, around $1,000 an acre. Far West Texas, as low as $600. Meanwhile, Texas Hill Country near Austin runs $7,000 to $30,000 per acre. Colorado's Front Range, $15,000 to $50,000. So you get clever. You buy the cheap land. Oh, Wyoming at $1,000 an acre. That's the bargain, right? Here's the trap. Cheap land is cheap because it produces almost nothing. In Wyoming's dry country, one cow needs 20 to 30 acres just to eat. A real operation, call it 500 cow, needs 10 to 15,000 acres. That's $10 to $15 million for the discount option. And the winters there are so brutal, you'll spend 5 to 7 months hand-feeding hay with your nearest supplier 90 minutes away. In expensive Texas country, denser grass means a cow needs only 2 to 8 acres. Winters are short, and the auction barn is down the road. The land costs more and costs you less to run. Lesson 1 of ranch economics. The price of land and the profitability of land are two completely different numbers. You closed the deal. Congratulations. You now own a very expensive piece of dirt that produces $0. Before your first sale, you're building infrastructure the listing never mentioned. Fencing, $8,000 to $13,000 per mile. Your 15,000-acre ranch has 60 to 80 miles of perimeter, plus interior cross fences. That's $300,000 to $600,000 before one cow arrives. Water. In most of the West, you drill for it. Agricultural wells run $8,000 to $25,000 each, plus pumps, power, and miles of buried pipe. Budget $50,000 to $100,000. Working corrals strong enough to hold a 1,200-pound animal that disagrees with you, $15,000 to $50,000. A hydraulic squeeze chute, another $10,000 to $15,000. A hay barn where because wet hay molds and moldy hay is worthless, $40,000 to $150,000. Add worker housing, equipment sheds, gravel roads. Total $500,000 to over $1 million, just to be ready to start. Now, finally, something you can sell. A bred commercial cow, pregnant, carrying next year's paycheck, runs $2,000 to $3,500. 500 of them, $1 to $1.5 million. Then bulls, 1 per 25 to 30 cows, so about 18 of them. Basic bulls cost $3,500 to $5,000. Elite genetics, the kind that produce calves that gain weight 15% faster and grade higher at the packing plant, can hit $50,000 at auction. And a $50,000 bull can break a leg in a creek crossing on Sunday and be gone by Monday. No warranty. Add tractors, 2 because 1 will break during calving season. Heavy-duty trucks, a livestock trailer, a baler, even buying used, around $250,000. Finance $200,000 of new equipment instead, and the debt service alone runs $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Enough on a mid-sized ranch to erase your entire profit. Your all-in livestock and equipment bill roughly $1.5 to $2 million. And unlike a warehouse, this inventory breathes, gets sick, escapes, and occasionally tries to kill you. Now here's the design flaw buried in the heart of this business, the one that separates people who understand ranching from people who get destroyed by it. Your revenue arrives once a year. Your expenses arrive every single day. You sell calves in the fall, one paycheck, maybe two. But the hay bill, the vet bill, the diesel, the payroll, the broken fence, those don't wait for October. The USDA says running one cow costs about $1,059 per year, and feed alone is the biggest line. 500 cows, over $900,000 a year in costs. Before you've sold anything, winter is the boss battle. From November through April, the grass is gone, and you're buying it in bale form. One bale, $50 to $120, feeds one cow for about 3 days. 500 cows, 150 days of winter. Somewhere between $125,000 and $300,000. In a normal winter, add a vet care, $17,000 to $30,000 a year. Add labor because you cannot run this alone. And experienced ranch hands are now so scarce that operations import seasonal workers on federal visas and build them housing. Add property tax, insurance, fuel, repairs. This is a business with a payroll and a maintenance schedule, 365 days a year, funded by one paycheck each fall. So what does that paycheck look like? The model is simple. A cow is pregnant 9 months, nurses her calf 6 to 8 more, and you sell that calf at around 550 pounds. In 2025's record market, that calf brings roughly $2,200. 500 cows at a strong 90% calving rate. 450 calves times 2,200, $990,000. Call it $1 million in gross revenue against $900,000 to $1.1 million in costs. Read that again. In a good year, record prices, kind weather, you net somewhere between $0 and $100,000 on $7 to $12 million invested. That's a return of, at best, 1.4%. Your bank's savings account beats your ranch. And that was the good scenario. Here's the honest one. Cattle prices swing in 8 to 12-year cycles, and inside those cycles, they whipsaw. In the first half of 2025 alone, feeder cattle moved $55 per hundredweight. On your 450 calves, that's $123,000 of revenue appearing or vanishing based purely on timing. Then there's drought, not an edge case, a recurring feature of the American West. When it hits, your grass dies in June instead of September. You start buying hay 2 months early at double the price because every neighbor needs it too. Your only escape is selling cows named under your income-producing assets into a flooded market. Next year, fewer calves, and rebuilding costs a fortune because everyone rebuilds at once. This is exactly why America's cattle herd has shrunk to 94 million head, the lowest since the early 1950s. Multi-generation Texas ranch families, people who knew every waterhole on their land, burned through their reserves buying overpriced hay, waited for rain that never came, and sold at the bottom anyway. Run the honest comparison. Good year, strong prices, cheap hay, you net $135,000. Bad year, a March blizzard kills 60 calves, drought doubles your feed bill, the market softens, you lose $380,000. Same ranch, same owner, same work ethic, and a $500,000 swing, decided by weather and timing, are the two things money can't buy. Which brings us back to the question from the beginning. If the math is this brutal, why does Ted Turner own 2 million acres? Or why Malone, Bezos, Gates, Kroenke? Because the cattle were never the business. The cattle are the cover charge. The land is the business. Watch the real math. That $35 million Texas ranch appreciating at 4% per year quietly generates $1.4 million in equity annually, almost exactly what the mortgage costs. Well, the cattle operation's job isn't to make you rich. Its job is to keep the lights on while the land builds your wealth. And the land pays you in ways calves never will. Hunting leases, $5 to $25 per acre per year in good deer country. On 15,000 acres, that's up to $375,000 for selling access while keeping everything you own. Surplus hay sales that print money in drought years. Guest cabins at $300 to $800 a night for people who want the cowboy weekend without the cowboy mortgage. Then the quiet giant, taxes. Donate a conservation easement, a permanent promise never to subdivide. And the IRS lets you deduct the value that promise erased. On a $100 million ranch, that deduction can shelter roughly $20 million in taxes, while you keep the ranch. And at the state level, a handful of grazing cattle qualifies the entire property for agricultural tax exemptions, cutting six-figure property tax bills down to a fraction. That's why you'll see a dozen cows dotted across a billionaire's 100,000 acres. Those cows aren't a business. They're a tax status with legs. So, could you actually own a ranch? Here's the truth the porch fantasy leaves out. The ranchers who survive aren't the smartest or the hardest working. Everyone here works hard. They're the ones with cash reserves deep enough to eat a bad year, revenue flowing from 4 directions instead of 1, and the discipline to never, ever sell the land. Because the land is the whole game. Can a ranch make you rich? Yes. Just not through cattle and not on your timeline. Slowly, over decades, through appreciation and tax code, or while you personally fix fences in the rain. The dream is real. The math is merciless. The winners hold both truths at once. Next time, a business where your customers pray you never show up. And the less they use it, the richer you get. So you think you want to own a gym? The numbers are stranger than you think.